Welcome to Narcissism Freedom. If this is your first time here, this channel exists to bring clarity, strength, and healing to those who have endured narcissistic abuse. And if you are returning, welcome back. You are not here by accident. You are here because something in you is waking up. Everything that was done to you has already been done to them. That statement can feel almost impossible to accept when you think about the pain you carried away from the relationship. You were the one left confused, exhausted, doubting yourself, replaying conversations, questioning your worth, and trying to make sense of what happened. Meanwhile, they appeared untouched, calm, confident, even amused. It looked like they walked away unscathed while you were left to pick up the pieces. But appearances are not truth. What you experienced was not the aftermath of someone strong overpowering someone weak. It was the exposure of someone deeply fractured colliding with someone real. And that collision created what is known as a narcissistic injury. A narcissistic injury occurs when the false self they depend on for survival is threatened, not bruised. Threatened. And your presence did exactly that. Your empathy, your depth, your authenticity, your ability to feel and reflect did not comfort them. It destabilized them. They are not injured because you hurt them intentionally. They are injured because you existed without the mask. Long before you entered their life, the injury was already there. It formed early, often in childhood, where emotional needs were unmet, invalidated, or weaponized. Instead of developing a stable sense of self, they built a persona, a shield, a performance. And that performance must be protected at all costs. When you question their behavior, you threaten the illusion. When you asked for accountability, you threaten the illusion. When you showed emotional truth, you threaten the illusion. And when the illusion is threatened, the narcissist reacts with rage, projection, manipulation, and control. What they did to you was not random. It was defensive. The gaslighting was not cleverness. It was panic. The cruelty was not confidence. It was exposure. The discard was not dominance. It was fear. They projected their shame onto you because they cannot hold it themselves. They accused you of what they were doing because facing their own reflection would collapse the false self they depend on. They punished your sensitivity because it reminded them of everything they had to bury in order to survive. When they mocked your emotions, it was because they do not have access to their own. When they tried to break your confidence, it was because your self-awareness highlighted their emptiness. When they rewrote history, it was because truth is lethal to the narcissistic structure. This is where many survivors get stuck. They believe the narcissist moved on. They believe the narcissist won. They believe the narcissist escaped consequence. But narcissistic injury does not heal. It does not soften with time. It does not integrate into wisdom. It does not evolve into accountability. It hardens. It calcifies into resentment, entitlement, bitterness, and chronic emptiness. It fuels endless cycles of seeking validation that never satisfies. New supply does not heal the injury. It only temporarily distracts from it. And every new relationship repeats the same pattern because the wound is internal and unresolved. They must protect the false self forever. You do not. What hurt you forced you to confront reality. It pushed you into self-reflection. It required you to sit with pain, ask questions, grieve illusions, and rebuild your identity from truth. That process is brutal, but it is also transformative. They avoid pain at all costs. You learn to move through it. They repeat patterns. You gain discernment. They remain trapped in reaction. You regain agency. This is why everything that was done to you has already been done to them. The injury they tried to externalize onto you already exists within them. You felt it temporarily. They live with it permanently. And here's the part they will never admit. They know. They know they crossed lines. They know they distorted reality. They know they harmed you, even when they deny it, even when they rewrite the story, even when they laugh loudly and pretend you meant nothing. The presence of narcissistic injury proves that you mattered. You were not insignificant. You were destabilizing. You saw something they cannot face. That is why they had to diminish you. That is why they had to discredit you. That is why they had to remove you. You were not weak. You were dangerous to the illusion. You walked away wounded, but real. They stayed intact on the surface, but fractured underneath. You are capable of remorse, insight, and growth. They are locked in defense, denial, and repetition. You are healing from something that happened to you. They are defending something that defines them. So when the weight of what you endured resurfaces, remember this. You are not carrying unfinished business. You are carrying evidence of survival. The pain you feel now is movement. The discomfort is integration. The grief is honesty. They do not get that. They remain stuck in the same internal landscape, reliving the same injury, reenacting the same dynamics, chasing the same validation, and avoiding the same truth. You, however, are free to heal, rebuild, and rise. And that is the greatest difference of all. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like the video so it can reach others who are still searching for clarity. Share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. And subscribe to Narcissism Freedom for continued insight, strength, and healing on your journey forward. You are not broken. You were exposed to someone who is, and you survived.